Welcome to another S&P 500 Trade Watch analysis. Today is September 4th, 2022. Hope you're enjoying your Labor Day weekend. U.S. market will be closed tomorrow. Last week, the S&P 500 came down to a potential support level. So will it bounce or flush right through it when trading resumes on Tuesday? And in this video, we'll analyze the ETF for the S&P 500, the SPY, and the ETF for the Nasdaq 100, the QQQ, and the Russell 2000 ETF, IWM, and also a couple FANG stock, Apple and Tesla, and prepare some scenario for the coming week. Stay tuned. Now, I hope you had a chance to read my Substack post before last week's non-farm payroll report came out. I have placed a link to my Substack page in the description below. And this coming Thursday, Jay Powell will be speaking soon after the jobless claim report comes out. So be on the lookout for a post from me on Substack before the jobless claim and Jay Powell's speech. And a follower also suggested to me to do a Q&A session, and I'm open to that if there are enough questions regarding to the tools and also the analysis technique that I use. And I will do a video exclusively to answer all those questions. But please do not post any question related to what stock should I buy. Do you think that I should buy this stock? Should I sell this stock? And what do you think about this stock? I am not a financial advisor, and I am not allowed to make those type of comments. So if you have any relevant questions, post them in the comment section below. And if I get enough of these interesting questions, I'd be more than happy to do a Q&A session, a video exclusively to try to answer some of your questions. Now, if you have not subscribed to this channel, click the subscribe and the notification icon, and be sure to click the thumbs up to give it a like to help promote this video on YouTube. Now here, looking at the SPY, we see the price closed just inside of last week's lower range of the weekly expected move, and held the support of the trend line, and also held the support of this breakout pivot high. And here's the next week's upper range for the from the weekly expected move. It's between 403.50 and 401.50, and the lower range is between 383 and 380.50. Now, I have also updated the micro composite volume profile using the January high to the present, and also highlighted the low volume zone. And there is a zone in confluence with the upper range zone and a zone on top of the composite value area low near the 407. And these zones will serve as potential long target off the bounce. And the zone near the lower range zone is near the 383, and also there's another one at 387.50. The 387.50 will serve mainly as a pivot zone. Either the price will get rejected and bounce off of it, or will fall right through and move to a lower range zone. So the scenario for next week are, first is look for the price to break the supporting trend line and move down to 387 low volume zone and get rejected and pushed back up, and reclaim the trend line and move toward the upper range of the expected move for the weekly expected move. Now, the second scenario is that it will break this trend line and come down to the low volume zone at 387.50 and unable to get back above it and move down toward the lower range of the expected move. Then we'll see, will it be able to hold this range? If it's not, then we look for a gap fill down here near this 378.50 level. Here's looking at the QQQ. The upper range for next week is 306.35 and 304.30, and the lower range is between 286 and 283.50. Now, there's a low volume zone near the 304 in confluence with the upper range zone, and also there's a low volume zone at 296.37, which is also in confluence with the breakout pivot high here. And there is a low volume zone right above the lower range zone, and one in confluence with the lower range expected move zone here. And last week we saw the price book the supporting trend line and came down to this low volume zone and tested the breakout pivot high once again. So here are the scenario for the coming week. The first scenario is to watch for the price to move back above this low volume zone at 296.37 and get a bounce off of it and then push up to the upper range zone near the 304. Then the second scenario is it continue to move down and unable to get back up to the 296 low volume zone and move down toward the lower range of the weekly expected move near the 286. And here looking at the IWM, the ETF for the Russell 2000, we see that the upper range for the coming week is 186.25 and 185.30. And the lower range is between 174.90 and 173.35. Notice the price move below this low volume node here, this low volume zone, and sitting right on this composite value area low. It still has some distance before it gets down to this supporting trend line here and also the breakout pivot high. Now here the scenario for the coming week. First is to see will the price get back above this low volume zone at 181.43 and then get a bounce and push up toward the upper range of the weekly expected move. Then the second scenario is that it is unable to get back above this low volume zone at 181.43 and then get pushed back down toward the lower range of the expected move near this 174, 175 area and also possibly test this trend line for potential support. Looking at Apple, last week we saw Apple close near the lower edge of last week's lower range zone. And also it filled this gap near this 160 level and broke below this trend line. And the upper range for the coming week is between 162 and 161. And the lower range is between 150.60 and 149. So here are the scenario for the coming week. We see that would it be able to reverse from current level and move back up toward the low volume zone up at the 160 level and toward this upper range of the weekly expected move. Then the next second scenario is to continue to move down toward this low volume zone here near this 152 and see would it get rejected to move back up toward this level here where it closed near the 155. And if that is unable to get a bounce off of it, then we basically are looking for it to come down into this lower range, this weekly expected move low range, and also test this composite value area low near the 150.60. And here looking at Tesla, we see that it also closed near the bottom edge of the lower range, last week's lower range, and also the bottom of this balance area. We have an upper range for the coming week between 387 and 384.10. And the lower range for the coming week is 256.30 to 252. Now the upper range is in confluence with the bottom of this balance area near the 287. And also the lower range is in confluence with this low volume zone near 256. So here are the scenario for the coming week. I'm going to see price bounce around inside of this balance area near the 270, then move up for the upper range of the expected move. That's the first scenario. And the second scenario is break below this 270 level, the balance area, and heads down toward the lower range and the low volume zone near this 256, near this 256 level. Those are some of the possible scenarios for the SPY, the QQQ, IWM, Apple, and Tesla for the coming week. Once again, if you have any question for my Q&A session, post them in the comment section below. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend and don't forget to smash the thumbs up to help me promote this video. Thank you for watching and stay safe.